WWE's post-WrestleMania plans for their 2 world titles have been revealed. Also, a big push is said to be planned for a SmackDown superstar, and former WWE superstar and UFC heavyweight champion Cain Velasquez has been arrested. More on that later on. So yes, first of all, WrestleMania is fast approaching. It's only about a month away now, Andrew.
In the car, I'm ready to go. I'm in 5th. No, I'm in 4th at this point.
Okay.
We'll get to 5th a little bit later on in March.
Yes, we will a little bit later on. But it is almost time for WrestleMania, and a lot of people have been talking, of course, the hot topic of discussion has been about the big Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar match, because it's title versus title. It's champion versus champion. And Dave Meltzer has spoken on what he's heard is going to happen with the titles when they eventually end up on the winner, basically.
Yeah.
So are they going to merge? Are they going to stay apart, or what? Meltzer seems to say, he reckons that the titles are going to keep their own legacies and lineages intact.
Yes.
Because he says he's heard that it's basically unfathomable in this modern age of wrestling with 2 networks who are both wanting the biggest stars on their show and everything.
Yeah.
It's unfeasible not to have 2 world titles, basically. So he reckons that the champion will show up on both while they're a double champion. And then, I guess, once they've lost one, that'll stay on that brand. It'll continue. It'll carry on. But it'll continue on, and it seems like that's very much what they're going with.
I mean, that makes the most sense, I think, right? Because
I think so.
especially when both shows are on different networks, definitely for ratings and stuff, you would most probably see one plummet if it didn't have a world champion or something of those high stakes on one of the shows, right?
Yeah.
So that makes more sense. Also, that then doesn't necessarily take a spot away from people who are on a specific brand that don't get to fight for a world championship either. Yes. So I think that makes much more sense. I think that's a better way of doing it, and perhaps with Roman Reigns probably being the biggest star in WWE right now. I'm gonna put that out there. Oh, he's looking at me weird.
Think Brock's not going to win, do you
Well,
not?
I'm not saying that, but I think it makes sense. Well, for whoever wins, either Brock or Roman, for whoever wins, it benefits both shows for that person to be on both shows.
Okay, yes, that does make sense. That does make sense. Fair enough. But that apparently is the case according to Meltzer. There's going to be 2 separate belts, and there are 2 separate belts. They're going to remain separate. They'll just be on the same person.
Yeah.
Unless we get a DQ finish, but I can't. In the main event of WrestleMania,
You can't know.
I can't see that.
After all this build-up as well,
no,
it's got to be a definitive end.
It has to be. Also, one of the, you know how there's going to be 2 nights of WrestleMania, of course. As we're kind of getting used to now. It's been announced by WWE that Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship will take place on night 1. I was surprised.
Me too, given that we've got Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey fighting for the SmackDown Women's Championship on the same night.
Yes, that's why I was surprised as well.
I thought they'd spread these out. Perhaps, I don't know. Maybe one opens as a show and the other closes a show.
Yeah,
I don't really know, but I wonder if it just takes away from one from the other match. Do you know what I mean?
I guess if they were split, whichever match was going to be on the same night as Roman and Brock, all the matches on that card are going to kind of be overshadowed by Roman versus Brock.
That's very true.
But yeah, we've been kind of used to, on these dual WrestleManias, well, we were used to I think we all had it in our heads there was going to be like a big women's match and a big men's match on, but now both the big men's titles are in the same match. So I guess maybe it makes sense in a weird way.
I guess so. Which one can you see either of them main eventing night 1?
Yeah, I think they'll probably. I'd guess they'd have Ronda.
Yeah,
because she's a huge star.
That's very true. Part of me wants
to
see Bianca and Becky headline though, just because of the whole, I guess, history since.
Part of me wanted it to be Becky versus Ronda, because that made the most sense.
We're building that up towards next year's WrestleMania. I'm telling you now, Jack. I'm placing it on the table. Don't touch the table. It makes too much noise.
Yeah, we've been told about that. Shall I give it a little go? Now, in a gap between stories. Well, to us, it doesn't sound like it does.
Just like Brock Lesnar, Pat McAfee show.
But to the viewers, that must have been like... Yeah, I am just like that. Okay, moving very swiftly on. Oh yes, absolutely exciting news there. Johnny Gargano, who of course is no longer with NXT, his contract ran out and he let it expire, I believe.
He did, yes.
He is now accepting indie bookings. He says, I wanted to be a free agent at this time for a few reasons. One, Candice and Quill, so he can spend more time with his family.
Yep.
Makes sense. And 2, the freedom to selectively pick and choose the things that I want to do for a bit. That said, here's my contact for potential appearances, business inquiries, etc. And if you are somebody looking to book Johnny Gargano, you can find him at johnnygarganobookings@hotmail.com.
We should just for one day make a promotion or something and just have Johnny come over, because he seems like a fine gentleman.
I was going to say, is this just because he seems like a nice guy?
Yeah.
Okay. He does.
We could trick him, right? And then it could be someone's birthday. Just like bring him in for someone's birthday. I'm excited to see where my birthday's in August. I got a while
you're not
to go.
trying to do it for yourself.
Yeah, not for me. I'm excited to see where he turns up. Hopefully, we've got a lot of GCW shows coming up in the run up to WrestleMania as well. So perhaps he could turn up at one of those.
Tell you what we've also got coming up. Well, later on in the year, but the G1 Climax.
Oh, the Gargano 1 Climax.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, did you see what Eric Bischoff said about Cesaro?
I did.
I thought it was actually a good point. And I don't often agree with a lot of things that Bischoff says about AEW and the whole AWWE thing.
Yeah.
But this one, I think he was right. He said, Cesaro should take a year to do the indies, basically, or go to Japan. And imagine Cesaro doing that in the G1.
Oh, I was saying to Tom, I'd love to see him in New Japan. I think he'd be like such a perfect fit. We were talking about Buddy Matthews as well, and we were like, he'd be a good fit for like a place like New Japan and stuff too. But I think Cesaro is just something about Cesaro. It's just more aggressive, raw.
I just thought there as well, actually, that Johnny Gargano, Best of the Super Juniors.
Oh,
he could do that. That's earlier in the year than G1,
idea.
so he could do that. There's various things that Johnny Gargano could do, though. He's very, very talented, of course. And I just hope he does what's best for him.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
And as you've mentioned, he does seem like a lovely
man.
He does. Moving back to WWE now, PW Insider say that they've had some readers ask why Ricochet got such a big push last week, and they say there's a very good explanation for that. Currently, he is slated as the #2 singles babyface for the entire SmackDown brand internally, behind only Drew McIntyre.
What?
First of all, oh yeah, I guess so.
I'm that's the thing, like thinking about it, but I
didn't
really
think
don't
Drew
know.
was the top babyface on SmackDown.
Me neither.
Yeah, I guess so.
Does that say something about WWE's booking of people at the moment?
Well,
like
PW Insider have mentioned that the New Day and Shinsuke Nakamura, who are also prominent babyfaces on SmackDown, I guess, are all listed as part of tag teams, so they don't count. So in terms of single superstars, it's Drew and it's Ricochet.
That's crazy.
I think there's an issue with SmackDown's roster.
I definitely think there's an issue with the
Not
SmackDown
with Drew
roster.
and Ricochet, they're great.
Yeah.
But the way they've been booked recently.
And I guess that's like that. What happens in the world title picture is kind of what we're seeing now. You've got to bring someone in like a Brock Lesnar to actually seem like some sort of threat, I guess, to Roman Reigns.
Absolutely.
Like you have to bring outside people. Well, he's not really outside people, but someone in to make a big deal about this. And it's like, oh, something needs changing there.
Yeah.
You know?
If you ask people who's the #2 babyface on SmackDown, I don't think many people would say, maybe after last week, but I don't know if many people would say Ricochet.
Me neither, but like obviously he's been having a lot of singles matches and stuff with Sheamus and Ridge Holland and whatnot, but he's also been placed in a lot of tag team bouts to go against Sheamus and Ridge Holland. So it's very, very strange.
I mean, it's promising for Ricochet. He was one of those people in the sort of Finn Balor mold recently who seems to have returned to prominence after people thought, well, they don't want anything to do with them anymore. They're not going to push them, which is a good thing for Ricochet because he's very, very talented. But yeah, just the structure of the SmackDown roster seems all off to me now.
Me too. I do hope they put a big push behind Ricochet. Like I do want to see that personally. I really like him, and I think they underutilized him after he got squashed by Brock Lesnar, and we just didn't see much of him really since then, did we?
Very weird.
Very
weird.
strange. Very strange.
Anyway, we'll end on a bit of serious news, actually. As I mentioned at the start of the video, I think it was NBC's local news service in California, or in the sort of Bay Area, reported that former WWE superstar and more prominently UFC heavyweight champion Cain Velasquez is currently arrested without bail for a shooting incident that he's linked with. Apparently there were two parties involved, and the other party has been taken. This is the good part of the story. Has been taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. So
that's good.
Hopefully everything gets sorted out there. We don't know anything else really. That Dave Meltzer's confirmed it on Twitter as well. I guess for wrestling fans, but Yeah, there's not a lot of details out there really. It's just a bit of a nasty story.
It is.
But this took place near San Jose, and we'll give you more updates, I guess, as and when they become available. But yes, apart from that, thank you very much for watching this news video. Check out our earlier one today as well, and have a good day out there. Stay safe, and we'll see you very soon.